Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to this nice Tuesday. It's a nice Tuesday morning over here. We're getting ready to actually move, so if you notice in the background, things kind of changed around here as we get packed away. Anyways, with that said, there is plenty to discuss for today. Realistically, with the short-term timeframes and the higher-term timeframes, is going to be a lot of complexity with that because they are essentially opposite of each other. And with a big event tomorrow, the FOMC meeting, I suspect that we're going to get some nice runs both ways and a lot of frustrating price action as usual. Anyways, with that in mind, I wanted to once again shill my Instagram. I've been uploading a lot of Bitcoin trading related content over there. There is a link in the description below. And then other than that, yes, the new program, the strategy program, is coming out maybe even tonight. We might even do it tonight. Who knows? It's a mystery to myself as well. Anyways, we've been putting more polls up over here as well. If you happen to want to give your opinion on price action, it's just a really good way to kind of gauge community sentiment and also just fun as well. And we're actually going to be ranking these to see who's most accurate, and it's going to be a little bit of a game. Anyways, more to come on that later, but let's just jump into the actual price action analysis right here. I want to start off with the lower term time frames first and foremost. So Bitcoin, as my charts get more and more convoluted right here, in a short term range, as we do look at between about 19,300 all the way up to our current highs about 19,700 or so. As long as Bitcoin is kind of within here, I don't really have any strong opinions on the short term. However, there is very likely another retest of the top side of this range. The question is, which side does Bitcoin break first? If it breaks above the 19,700-ish region, then I would be looking for a pretty big leg up, actually, somewhere between about 20,000 and 20,200, and vice versa to the downside below about 19,300 on a full hour closing basis. I'd be looking for Bitcoin to come back down and test below $19,000. Now, short term, it does look like Bitcoin's a little bit more poised to test the upside than the downside, as we do reference the 6 hour time frame over here. We do notice that the 6 hour jewel getting a pretty nice signal off of the lows, and we do also notice on the short-term time frame stochastic momentum influence with that. We also, can identify upwards pressure as long as Bitcoin's above 18,350 on the 6 hour time frame. 4 hour pivot is going to be at 18,725, so like way below right now. 3 hour is going to be showing upside above 19, and hourly is probably flippy floppy, but might even be up as well here. We'll actually turn back up above 19,500. So short term, does Bitcoin get another test of the upside? Probably yes. The question is, does it actually clear the short-term time frame range highs? If it does, I'd be looking for another leg up, probably coming into tomorrow's event. Again, the FOMC meeting, which probably going to be a lot of fuckery around that. So with that in mind, I wanted to now juxtapose the short-term time frame analysis versus the higher-term time frame analysis. We got a new major closure coming in from yesterday, the 2-day time frame, and we have a couple major closures coming in tonight as well. But the 2-day time frame closing was a major focus of yesterday's analysis and the day prior than that, because we do have a 2-day time frame signal a brewing over here as well. The signal is this: anytime that we do observe 2-day BBWP, which is a volatility measurement, which essentially measures the dispersion of returns, getting down to extreme lows, which are defined as anything 10 percentile or lower, which we've seen many iterations of this in the past 5 years. The average move after expanding from those extreme lows has been about 35%, done over the course of about 2.5 weeks from the actual confirmation of the volatility expansion, I should say. The stochastic oscillator has gone the correct direction on the volatility expansion about 84.5% of the time. So very, very high hit rate right here. Doesn't mean that it's perfect though. We're talking about statistics, not certainties, of course. And the first standard deviation as far as the average move goes would represent a range between about 25.5% all the way up to 44% on the upper end. So as of right now, or as of yesterday night's closure, the momentum pivot was closed below. I think the magical number was like 19,700. And what's very interesting about this new one on the 2-day time frame is that the momentum pivot has actually gone up here. So it's gone up from like 19,700 now to 20,400, which does imply that on the next period, on the next closing basis, if Bitcoin is closing below 20,400, not tonight, but tomorrow night, which funnily enough coincides with a good old FOMC, then I would be looking at this as a confirmed cross to the downside, because we have 2 closures. And then on top of that, we just need to see volatility expansion, which as of right now, the 2-day BBWP is getting a positive slope. We really want to see that get above the moving average, and then also the moving average having a positive slope, like what you've seen here. You know where I'm going with this one. So it's not quite there just yet, but I suspect that tomorrow's event is going to be a major catalyst for that. It would not surprise me one one bit at all whatsoever for Bitcoin to trade up to like 20,000 bucks and then spike down again. Like, you know how these days go. They move fucking fast. And until then, short-term time frames, a little bit of an upwards bias. Maybe we've even seen the move already. But ultimately, the big event is tomorrow for the actual direction of this market. Anyways, in this case, with that in mind, I am always, I'm going to always align with the probabilistical standpoint of this. And as long as Bitcoin is below this momentum pivot over here, I do look at this as more likely to break to the downside than the upside, or have a major move to the downside than the upside. But applying the statistics in the way that we have over here, what I'll look at is where the first deviation is, and also the average for these presumed moves, and just kind of come up with some areas of interest. So again, as of right now, kind of neutral in a sense, because we haven't seen volatility expansion, which is what actually confirms the signal. But if we were to see that, well, 2-day stochastic oscillator is pointed to the downside. So if we were to take that from the actual signal given, which would be over here, about what was it, like 20, I've already forgot, 25%, I think it was, somewhere around there. Let me actually bring back up my box, my beautiful box. Where's my box? Not that kind of box, but this kind of box, the ones that has the statistics. So 25% on the lower end and about 40% on the upper end. That'd give us some areas of interest to the downside. Elsa's coughing because she's like dying in the background. Of about $15,500 to the downside for the lower end of the first deviation. If we were to go all the way for the average move, about 35%, that puts Bitcoin at about 13 to 14,000 bucks, and obviously 40% puts it somewhere around 12,000. Of course, if tomorrow's event does bring things back up above those momentum pivots, and we do see volatility expansion, then the areas of interest to the upside that we'd be looking for would actually be quite significant. Even 25% to the upside brings Bitcoin back up to 24,500 to 25,000 bucks. If Bitcoin were to go for like the full 40% move, that would put Bitcoin at about 27 to 28,000 bucks, actually kind of fulfilling that last major CME gap that we did observe on the June breakdowns. So again, we're looking at a big move, or a big move is extremely likely brewing here. So in my experience, it's best to be waiting for, the kind of catalyst tomorrow. And yeah, you're probably going to end up missing, or at least I would end up missing, the first leg of that move. But ultimately, I want the high probability move as far as, trading goes. So I'm happy to be waiting for something like that. On top of that, if we do go back on over here and reference a few other things, we do see on the 3-day time frame, hidden bearish divergence is actually confirmed on spot price action, but I'm more concerned, or I'm more interested in CME over here, which yes, we do have another third drive of hidden bearish divergence forming, and it will be confirmed with any sort of a closure basically below about 19,400 today for CME. That one actually will close. So that's a big one for me as well. And then of course, when we go and reference stochastic momentum, the daily for CME is actually nosediving right here as long as Bitcoin's below $21,000. Not $20,000, but $21,000. If we go over to the 3-day time frame, it is also down as long as Bitcoin's below the same pivot as the 2-day for spot price action, which is 20,300. And the 5-day time frame, which is actually also closing today, remains with downside pressure as long as Bitcoin's below that same number, 20,300. So it's going to be a long day left to go. Again, short term, does Bitcoin probably get a rally here? I mean, we're already seeing that rally, so I'm not really saying anything that's like super interesting as far as that goes. The real question is, where do things kind of align with at the end of today and then tomorrow? Until then, short term, short term, yeah, probably gets another try to the upside here. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to be adding. Tomorrow's going to be the big day. The problem with tomorrow is that the day, like today and tomorrow, like we're getting everything ready for moving, moving like houses, which is a massive clusterfuck in case you haven't done that yourself. And so we're going to be quite busy. Of course, when the new program releases, there's no like real support that would really be necessary for that. It doesn't like come with any indicators or anything. But do understand that if you do email us with whatever questions that you may or may not have, then, support is going to be a little bit difficult because Elsa is going to be, busy, and then we're actually going to be flying the next day. So hopefully that was in some way helpful. I will be signing off now. I want to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.